But what this tool is doing for you that no other tool on the market does is allow you to accurately move the position of the bullet without marring or damaging the bullet to tune factory ammo from the shelf at Cabela's to work better in your rifle.
Hola, cholas and chicas. I'm with my Yesis right now. Both of them are pretty loco off their feet. That's Hernandez. And that's Rique.
Soy Hernandez.
Hey, how you doing?
They're crazy, man, but we just want to let you know that we appreciate your support. And most importantly, enjoy the podcast.
Enjoy the podcast.
See.
I thought we were getting a new one.
I was about to say, I'm ready for a new one.
How many times you heard that one, Jake?
Half a dozen. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, like what
Plus-
do we pay these people for?
Plus, we have some staff changes, so we need some fresh.
Emily,
some fresh.
Emily, write that down. We need a new intro, and you have to be part of it.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
It's got to be in an accent.
Does she have voices? Have we figured that out yet?
I don't know. She can't park. I know that.
Emily, is your new headset working? Not yet, huh? Oh, we didn't. We
I
need
don't
some
think plugged in,
extensions.
but she has her headset in.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, pretty soon she'll be able to talk to us. It'll be a game changer because I would always hope that person that we were talking shit about would talk shit back to us because
That'd
that's
be
the way
awesome.
it should work. So it'll be fun when
All
she
you heard
can.
was this. Shut up.
But I was trying to think about. I wasn't going to talk about the other guest we have. He's kind of a silent partner.
Yeah, he hasn't talked much today.
Yeah, we're not going to say much. You got to go watch the YouTube to check him out.
There is a new. Maybe we'll call him a new form or something because you get.
Well, he came from Form.
That's true.
Yeah. So if you go back to I think it's podcast 34. I was thinking about when I was driving over. We talked about this elusive bear, and Form can shoot, but this bear was elusive. He missed it twice.
Which should have been a sign how small it was to start with.
Yeah, the guy can shoot, but he missed it on day one. Oh no, he nicked it in the leg.
Okay.
Day one. And he always blames me for the wind call. I wasn't even there the first 2 days.
Ah.
The second time he missed it, shot in front of it, and the third day he finally killed it. So in camp, we have a guide that has literally probably been on a couple hundred bear kills, and I've probably been on 50 or 60 bear kills, and a lot of riffraff of people. Jake, anyways. Everybody said, I don't know if you said anything, Jake, but everybody said, oh, it's a 5-foot bear, and I said, that motherfucker's a 3-foot bear. If we have on video camera.
If you haven't walked up on a bear you shot thinking it was a decent bear and picked it up by the front leg and looked at it like a Labrador, you haven't been bear hunting very long.
That's right.
True.
That's right.
Very true.
At least that's how it goes for me.
But we don't want to give him that credit.
No.
Because we had I was like, it's too fluffy. Like bears don't look that fluffy and they're huge.
Yeah.
And they're not huge, but 5 foot. Anyways, this is his soft mount. So
They are extremely difficult to judge in size. I've been and it's funny too, because so a good friend, Frank, was sending me some of his pictures or showing me his pictures from his recent trip up to BC. Well, not B. I may be wrong on the part of Canada, but they were hunting black bears up in Canada. And the bears up there are enormous, but they have long legs, so their bellies are real high off the ground. They're just big fucking bears overall. But you look at it from a distance, and it looks like an Idaho 5-foot bear, but it was a Canada 6.5-foot bear. And it's got, so I guess it depends on even the region that you're in, the looks that you rely on, like stomach close to the ground, even the shape of the head and the ears, everything was different in Canada than it was from here.
I think no matter where you're at, a decent rule of thumb would be if its ear is as big as its snout, it's probably not a very big bear.
Yeah, it's true.
yeah, you definitely can't go like on big ears. Because I shot a really big bear a few years ago and he had huge ears.
Huh.
And he was 7'5".
Oh, shit.
Yeah. In Boone and Cockett Skull, he was a tank.
I guess the idea is that it's really difficult to tell the size.
Oh, it's very difficult.
matter what.
It's just on that, like this little dude was fluffy and I'm like, man, he just looks too fluffy to be a huge bear.
That's what's nice about hunting over bait is you can compare the size to that drum. That's your most, accurate.
Yeah, when you have a big barrel.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen the new rules coming out for bear baiting in Idaho now?
No.
Take the ID class.
Dude, and the funniest part is there's a grizzly bear shot down by St. Mary's on a bait. And they asked the Fish and Game before they shot it if it was a grizzly bear or not. And they said no.
Oh,
And
shit.
They shot it and it was. Yeah. So not even the fucking Fish and Game knew what the bear was.
Oh, wow.
So now we got, after September 1st, emergency order, we have to do a bear identification test before we can bait bears.
Wow. Well, they have the same thing in Montana already.
I don't know.
You got to do, when you get a bear tag there in Montana, you got to do like a grizzly versus black. You got to do a little thing online.
That must be relatively new.
Well, I only know about it because I had to put the details for our bear hunt / training.
Gotcha.
When I went through all that, you got to do something in Montana that proves that you know the difference between the two.
I just find it ironic that the professionals also said it wasn't.
A guy just texted me today and told me that there are some weird rule proposals coming up. Something on the inside of the Idaho fishing game. I'm going to read you.
So they asked for comments on. They're putting together a task force to limit technology.
Yes, F&G seeking members for working group to assess perspectives on fair technology and big game hunting. Basically, I guess the idea that our rangefinders and scopes of today and our cartridges are just too effective, and the animals need a better chance.
I see both sides of it, but I will say this: if you take laser rangefinders out of the game, all we're going to get is a lot of wounded and crippled.
Oh, definitely, because it's not like they're still not going to try to take that shot.
And how do you police that?
Now there are some. Maybe this is more geared towards the new models of scopes that are coming out, where when you range the animal, like it's moving the reticle inside of the scope,
like the Eliminator.
Yeah, there are some systems that I don't think. Maybe this is what they're more geared towards, is those type of technology systems rather than the standard. Because the Night Force NX8s that we're using there's no technology built into the scope other than being a quality scope.
Yes,
and a rangefinder is a rangefinder is a rangefinder. I mean, there's nothing.
Right.
The only thing a rangefinder does is make you more accurate at your game, I guess. I mean,
we were taking those long shots before rangefinders.
Yeah.
And if you took them away, people are just going to take a less educated shot at the same
They'll
animal.
be using the line distance tool on it.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know how they police it. I do understand, like, you look at the Revic lines, and now you have rangefinders inside the scope, and you have all kinds of technology.
This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Maybe it's more geared towards that, and that's fine by me.
Enhance your shooting experience with STOCKY'S stocks. Are you tired of struggling with mediocre rifle stocks that hinder your performance? Imagine having a high-quality rifle stock that not only enhances your accuracy, but also provides superior strength in a lightweight build. STOCKY'S Stocks offers a wide range of premium rifle stocks manufactured with hand layup carbon fiber construction, a patented carbon fiber AccuBlock, and multiple finish options. Whether you're a long-range shooter or a hunting enthusiast, our stocks are perfect for you. Experience unmatched precision and durability with STOCKY'S stocks. We provide stock installation instructions, technical support, and guidance to help you choose the right stock for your rifle. Upgrade your shooting game today with STOCKY'S stocks.
Well, I would also say, I was never a big compound guy, pretty much hunted with a stick bow. But damn, dude, those compounds are getting deadly out to 100 yards.
Yes.
100 plus yards.
Yeah, guys are starting to consistently hit 100 yards.
So it'll be interesting to see. I actually applied to be on it because I wanted.
Did you?
Yeah.
No shit.
Well, yeah, because I don't want some jackass coming in from another state or some tree. Because what happens if the hunter doesn't get on there, some freaking left wing nut job gets on there and really fucks stuff up. Look at the bear hunting in Washington, because you got a bunch of environmentalists on their commission, their Fish and Game Commission.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they lost they lost the spring season.
Yep. And conservatives and hunters are always quiet, and they let these people come in and fuck them over, and they don't say anything until it's too late. So I'm hoping that we don't have that happen here.
Seems like everybody's trying to get ahead of it nowadays.
Yeah. We have to start fighting back.
Right.
We have to start talking back.
Right.
Like, I don't know about you guys, 'cause I was thinking about this the other day. I have never been scrolling through whatever on social media and saw a liberal thing squawking about something and commented. Yeah. I don't. That's you. I don't give a fuck what they do. But boy, they sure come on our pages and tell us how messed up we are. But they're just unhealthy.
You just described a Democrat in a little.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You're scrolling through and you're like, why are you taking time out of your life to tell me I'm doing something wrong? We don't do that to them. Why do they do that to us?
What else do they have to do?
Yeah. They don't have fucking jobs.
They're not working.
They don't have hobbies.
They're just growing armpit hair and driving Subarus around.
Oh shit. What do you think? What do you think, Rocco?
Yeah. He's very quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll chime in eventually.
Yeah, he's very quiet and reserved.
Uh-huh. It's kind of funny because we're pulling number 4 in there for Emily. He's going to be Anyways, if you jump on the YouTube, you'll see our guest over there in chair 4.
Yeah, he's going to be around a lot.
Yeah.
We also have another special guest.
We do? There's another small business spotlight or new business spotlight that we're doing here. We have Jake Elliot with Type 1 Designs. Jake came into the shop here about 4 or 6 weeks ago?
Yeah, about a month.
Yeah, about a month ago, and basically pitched a new tool design that he's been working on for several years.
Yeah.
And Blaine, my GM, was in the shop at the time, and myself, and he was a little nervous on his pitch for sure. But yeah,
Well,
he
you can't blame me. I walked in, I got Luke to start, right?
Yeah.
And I thought I was just going to be talking to Luke, and he's like, "Oh, let me go grab Jake." Then all of a sudden, I hear some like fee fi fo noises. And I see this dude turn sideways to get his shoulders through a standard 32-inch door jamb.
That's the best thing I've ever heard about.
That's funny
Jake.
shit.
Oh, shit.
I also have my guys are telling me now that I stomp like crazy because I have these barefoot shoes.
Oh,
And I have big heels there, so they tell me they know when I'm coming because my heel hits the ground.
Everybody
pretty
puts their phones back in their pockets.
Exactly. He's like, tighten up.
Shit.
And he has a really, really deep voice,
Oh yeah.
and it's just annoying as shit.
You mean sexy?
Some might say annoying, some
Yeah.
might say sexy. What do you think, Rocky? Nothing.
He said sexy.
I don't think so.
Hey, that's how this is Rocky's voice.
Are you that deep, Rocky?
He's not big enough for that.
No.
Oh.
He's going on test too and Trent. He's gonna bolt.
Shit.
Uh,
All right. So Blaine was out there and he started pitching your tool, and I thought myself that there is definitely a hole in the market for this tool. It definitely has an application towards factory ammo shooters, and I'm not going to get too much into it, let you do your pitch, but we're going to carry this in the shop here at Unknown Munitions because I think it has some value for the type of clientele that we're working with. Let's say, for example, the UMTICA custom build guy going to shoot 7 PRC, but he's going to shoot factory ammo, and this tool could definitely help them get their rifle to possibly shoot as good as it can. So, Jake, I'll let you take it from here.
Jake,
Yeah, I
before you
appreciate
jump
it.
in on your product, you got to give us your background story.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Tell us where you came from. How'd you get to where you are right now?
Yeah, Southern Idaho, grew up, ended up going to school up in Moscow, got an engineering degree. Did kind of random odd jobs, fought fire to get myself through school, and landed in Orofino working for an optics company down there as an optomechanical engineer. Started to be able to afford nicer rifles and get more into the precision rifle stuff. And yeah, it's kind of blossomed into this, I guess. I've been hunting my whole life since I was old enough to follow the old man through the woods, and that's really the driving cause behind all this, just hunting.
So you grew up from your knee high, following your dad around in the woods hunting.
Yeah, that's it. I think he missed a lot of opportunities killing elk because he had a 7-year-old toddling around behind him kicking,
But he's
squaw
planting that seed.
That's right. Yeah.
So
yeah.
what's your favorite animal to hunt today then? After your dad brought you up,
It's got to be mule deer.
mule deer.
Yeah, dad
We
wasn't.
just had this fucking conversation.
Yeah, dad wasn't a big mule deer hunter, but that's where I've gone.
What does it for you for the mule deer that say an elk or a bear doesn't?
Man, I think the uniqueness of them, the way they act, where they live, that's pretty much it. Hunting mule deer, I mean, just like anything, you can get whatever out of it that you're willing to put into it, but like hunting mule deer in the breaks country, and I mean, there's just a lot of cool country you can go and chase them around in Idaho, and every once in a while you get lucky and find one that made it past 3 years old. Yeah.
So you think hunting mule deer is a little tougher than hunting elk?
Depends where you're at,
Mm.
I think.
I
Depends
also-
on what you're after.
Yeah, I think big is big, whether it's whitetail, elk, mule deer.
And
Yeah. If you want to hit a 375 bull, you're going to be looking for a while.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So did you
for no-
bow hunt, rifle hunt? How did you?
Both. Yeah. Archery. Yeah. Killing mule deer with the bow is kind of like the pinnacle for me right now. But rifle hunting is right there with it. So I'm going to try to do both this year. for
Play
mule deer.
any sports?
Back in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing since. Yeah.
And
yeah.
you
Wrestled and
became a dirty vandal?
yep.
Mm.
Yep. No.
You're a
sports in
wrestler, huh?
college.
What-
Was.
What weight class?
My freshman year, that was the last year I wrestled, actually. I was 145.
Freshman of high school or college?
High school.
So I wrestled 140s as a freshman in high school.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just sprouted late.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I sprouted up. Yeah, before high school, but didn't. Well, still haven't filled out. Obviously, I think your wrists are like the size of my knee.
So we got this new tool here. So how about Type 1 Designs, the name of the business, and then what brought you into this tool and take us down that path?
Well, the name of the business, in hindsight, doesn't make too much sense. But at the time, I was picking up a little side work, doing some drafting type work, and I just needed something generic. Type 1 comes from the firefighting days. I did wildland for all through college to pay for school and whatnot, and like a hot shot crew or whatever. Yeah, that's going to be like Type 1, and then a standard hand crew's Type 2. Type 3 is a step below that type thing. So yeah, Type 1 just kind of supposed to be high quality. So that's where that came from.
Nice.
And then, I was messing around with a 25-06, trying to get that thing to shoot right. And, long story short, lot to lot with some factory loads I was messing with. I noticed everything just fall apart as soon as I switched to a new lot. And I figure, you never know what powder or whatever's in those loads, but I set two of them up side by side and you could visibly see a seating depth difference. I was like, man, it's got to have something to do with it. So I went and used a standard bullet puller, pulled those things out, ran them through the press, reseated them, and lo and behold, they got to shooting right again. So that kind of sparked this whole rigmarole.
Okay.
So what we've got here for the tool, it's kind of the first of its kind. It's essentially a kinetic style bullet puller. I don't know if you guys not watching on YouTube will be able to follow along with this, but
yeah, I'm sure everybody's probably heard of at least a kinetic bullet puller. It's kind of got a hammer shape to it.
Right.
Yeah. Well, you're welcome to hold stuff up to the camera whenever you're explaining stuff. Yeah.
That's it. I think most of your guys' audience will be real familiar with this.
But yes.
But yeah, so it's a kinetic style bullet puller, real water or real condensed down. That's what it is, with a seating die in the end of it, or a seating stem in the end of it, essentially. And the actual collet mechanism is one piece. It's all contained, and that you can adjust that in and out on this lead screw. So this is still a prototype. The final versions will be complete soon.
Well, probably when you guys are hearing this podcast, they're going to be up on your website for sale, right? Yep. Your website will be fully operational at that point, and we're going to carry them here at Unknown for you because I think it's a great tool. But yeah, when the podcast does come out, they should be able to jump on there and find one of these, I think.
So jump over to the website now, or if you're in the Spokane, Coeur d'Alene area, come to Unknown Munitions, because they're going to be our
check them out in the store.
One and only dealer. Yeah, come by and harass these guys.
Hell yeah.
So when you're whacking those things, like the biggest thing you do with the kinetic ones, actually, because if you have reloaded very long, you fucked up a bullet and had to smack it out of there, but you already scoring up and the bullet's almost useless.
Right.
How does that not score the bullet?
So I'm glad you brought that up. That took me probably the longest in development, was finding the right material to make these inserts out of. And so this is a PEEK plastic. It's a polyethyl ether ketone, and it's basically a super rigid, very dimensionally
It's a super
stable,
plastic.
super plastic, exactly. Yeah. Anyhow, sorry, I'll dumb it down, but
good.
But yeah, I tried a bunch of different materials, and this is the only thing that would stay consistent. It's not pliable enough to allow for any variance, but it doesn't mar up the jackets.
And you tried monos, burgers, soft jacket match bullets.
Yep.
I don't think any kinetic bullet puller comes with any type of collet insert for a bullet size, right? No. You just put the thing in there and it
knock it out.
So this is, you're basically carrying and loving each bullet, by holding it properly.
You're just kind of giving it a warm welcome.
Yeah.
Stopping it from coming out any further.
Well, and we talked before the podcast, we talk a little bit to get everybody all associated with each other. And we talked about the Horn Day podcast where they talked about, this don't matter, that don't matter, seating depth wise. Well,
right.
And we talked even form. I pointed to Rocky when I say form.
Oh, that's form from now on. We may just do that. We're going to start pointing to him every time.
We need
to make him a name tag.
Yeah, we do. We talked to, that's Form Junior.
Hello, and then we'll.
Oh, dude, there's so much can go on with this.
Oh, God.
And seating depth. Well, I have shot a lot of guns and I have ran a lot of seating depths, and just go back a week and a half. We're getting ready to go to Africa. I was trying to get Tanya's rifle ready because we hadn't really shot it that much. And the standard load, this is a different barrel. We were on Benchmark and Ace barrel, 60,000. This is where it likes it. 66 grains of 570, 60,000 off the lands with a 115 D-Tech. So I load that in there, and it's 650 yards, and it's about a minute and a half. So I put in 50. I made some 50 off, and I made some 70 off. And the 50 off I shot first, it grew to about 2.5 minutes. Well, and it was like like I was telling before, it's 2 in, 1 out, 3 in, 1 out. So you're like, you're right there. You think you're right there. And I put it at 70, and they were all about a half minute. So I was like, well, I got to try this again because one time we just got lucky. So, yep. So I shot it again, and it's almost identical on top of each other. I shot it a third time, almost identical on top of each other. I was like, maybe I just got lucky. So I put 50 back in, and I was right back to 2+ minutes. So seating depth, in my opinion, is a thing.
Well, I don't think there's any argument that it has an effect. I mean, it definitely has an effect.
Has to.
It has to.
You're changing the case capacity every time you move the bullet.
Yeah.
Changing case capacity means changing pressure. Pressure affects load and so on. So it's not just the position of the bullet in relation to the lands. It's also the case pressure that you're changing.
And I think a lot of it has to do with the velocity of the projectile when it enters the lands.
Mm-hmm.
And I could be wrong there. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know for sure, but I would venture to assume that has a lot to do with it.
And I always like looking for an angle. Why would a factory ammunition company debate that? Well, they have no way for you until now to change the seating depth.
Yes.
That's right.
So,
and another thing that kind of hamstrings, I mean, you got to kind of give them a break because Sammy says they can only load those out so long.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
And then every rifle manufacturer out there that's chamber and barrels, they have a minimum for the chamber, for that throat length. And so what you end up with a lot of the time is bullets jumping a long ways. Sometimes that's not always a bad thing, but
Weatherby would say no.
Weatherby, well, yeah. But I mean, having the ability to control that and find what works best for your rifle, because just because you bought a 6.5 PRC from Christensen doesn't mean that you're going to have a inspec Sammy chamber.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
you're fucking 100% correct about that.
I mean, I've got 2 buddies that I work with that have bought 6.5 PRCs in. I hate to pick on Christensen because there's, I'm sure, a bunch of them that do this. Can't chamber a factory load.
You're not picking on anybody.
I have seen that from multiple. I have a 6.5 PRC right now from Fierce that when I shoot factory loads and they send for a review,
pressure sign.
It's pressure signs up the yin yang. So it's not isolated. I think any semi-production rifle manufacturer can have this problem.
You're going to run into it. Yeah. It's just tool wear, and you might get that barrel that was chambered on Friday at 5. And
there are ways around this though for a production rifle. We're currently working with a production rifle company, and the whole idea about us endorsing the rifle is that we're putting some quality checks in place once the rifle's complete. So they're going to have a minimum amount of shots that are fired through the rifle, so like a 10-shot group. They'll also have to feed 100 rounds of ammo through the magazine that's coming with the rifle. So if you eliminate any feeding issues that are caught before the rifle leaves, and you're sure that a 10-shot group, a sub minute and a half or sub 1.3 or whatever the guideline would be, I mean, I just don't think that other companies are doing that. So there are ways that they can ensure that the rifle that leaves the manufacturer is going to do its job once it gets to the consumer.
Well, I'm really excited to hear that. I wish more companies would do that because the whole sub MOA guarantee means nothing if it's 3 shots.
Yes.
It's learning, and like the first one that I personally ever heard of was Gunworks. They shoot 2 7-shot groups consecutively under 3/4 of a minute, and that was the first one. But now I know they don't want it. He asked me not to say the company. There's another company that shoots a 10. They won't tell you what their accuracy is, but they shoot 10 bullets out of that gun before it leaves. And he said it's dramatically dropped returns.
Yeah,
I bet.
Hi, I'm Brent Jarbo, CEO of ADG. For the past decade, we've been dedicated to crafting the highest quality, 100% American-made rifle brass to meet all your hunting and long-range shooting needs. This year, we're excited to introduce our new 6.8 Western and 270 WSM cases. With over 250 years of combined industry experience, we're committed to excellence. Look for our distinct orange boxes wherever you buy your reloading supplies. Whenever you need quality rifle cartridge cases, choose ADG Premium Rifle Brass, where precision meets performance.
Yeah. And they don't need to say what the 10-shot group is because we know what most 10 shots group tend to be, even from a really quality rifle. If you're sub half inch on a 10-shot group, you're fantastic.
Insane, yeah.
It is.
Oh, if you're sub half inch on 10-shot group, it is phenomenal.
And the reason why that manufacturer probably doesn't want you to promote it is because it goes back to the same, if you go out and say that it shoots 1.3 inch 10-shot group, the guy's not going to want to buy it because they're so used to just relying on a 3-shot group of a half inch or better.
Right.
As kind of the accuracy benchmark.
I think that's changing though.
It is.
I agree.
It is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like it's definitely growing. It's more accepted, I should say. And I would pat myself on the back. Rock Slide's pushing some of that.
Oh, yeah.
But like Unknown, Tyler Friel, like they're telling people, hey, this is all bullshit made up by gun writers, this 3-shot group thing. If you go back, and we had Form on that podcast, and he said back in the day, there used to be 10, 20, 30, 100 shot groups. And that's what they tested for accuracy. So
to go back to the tool,
yep.
Maybe we just try to simplify a little bit for the listener about what's happening here.
Yeah. So not only the tool comes with the kit, but you got to start with these guys. This is just a little baggie full of low temp thermoplastic beads. So the whole process starts with you measuring your maximum theoretical seating depth, right?
And I'm going to say this before I had never heard of using this bead or even glue process to do what you're going to do. So this was very interesting to me.
Right. So it's real similar if anybody out there is familiar with like the Loctite or super glue method, where you take a piece of fired brass, you run a projectile in the neck just barely, and you either gob the ID of the neck full of super glue or Loctite or whatever you want to do. And then you just
gently chamber it.
Very gently. And let that sucker dry. When you pull it out, you have a theoretical max length.
Had you heard about that before he just told you?
Yeah, there's somebody online that had a video out a long time ago. Yeah,
I guess probably because of the Hornady OAL gauge being the more common process. Now, of course, what I think is you're doing, you have a one-stop shop kind of kit here, right? So you don't have to use an OAL gauge. You can use something as cheap as this process, and then again, you're doing it at home yourself. Take a fired piece of brass, which you're going to have from your rifle,
right?
You can pull a bullet if you need to from some other ammo to get a single bullet, and then do this process.
Yeah, and not only is it cheaper, it's
very effective.
It's very easy.
Yeah.
How does yours work?
The thermoplastic?
Yeah,
I think it works pretty well, or else I would have told people to use something.
Yeah.
different.
Just go over the process though. What do you do with the beads?
How does that work?
So you fill this up. Oh, how does it work? I thought you meant like how well.
Yeah.
No, so you're just going to fill that piece of fired brass up to the neck with these beads, and then you're going to heat it up. You can either do that with hot water. I mean, this stuff melts at like 120, 130, so it doesn't have to be hot. I use a blowtorch because it's the quickest. And then you just run like a little Allen key or something. Make sure that some of that plastic's on the ID of the neck. Start the bullet in there barely. Drop it in, chamber it, close your bolt nice and slow, and let it cool about 15, 20 minutes. Then when you crank that bolt open, just make sure the ejector isn't shoving that bullet clear into the chamber wall, kind of keep some pressure on it, keep it in line as it's coming out. And there you go. You got a max length dummy load, because that bullet, if you just barely start it in the neck and then close that bolt on it, it'll just barely make contact with the lands and stop right there.
Oh.
The plastic behind it will displace. When it cools, that plastic holds it in place, and then you can use your ogive comparators and zero out there, and that's your maximum dummy load.
We talked about that a little bit. You could probably there's other methods. Maybe you can even save some material, right? So let's say you know, just go full fucking crack it and take a spoon over the stove, right? And put some plastic, and then basically roll your bullet in the melted plastic and then slide it into the neck.
Yep. Yeah, you certainly don't need to fill the case with the plastic. It's totally unnecessary.
Basically any way to get melted plastic on the outside of the bullet around the bearing surface and slide it into the neck before you go to seat it.
Just don't let your neighbors look in your garage and see you heating a spoon up with some plastic.
Yeah, what do you know about that, Jake?
I saw a movie once, and what they did, I saw this spoon and I saw a lighter, and then the stuff kind of melted inside, and they did the thing. But I think it was one of his new videos about how to use this tool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, that certainly works just as well. There's enough of these beads in there to do a handful of cartridges, maybe 3 or 4, depending on your case capacity, if you do fill them up all the way, but it'll certainly last a lot longer if you do it that way. Just add enough, to get the job done.
I'm sure you probably sell maybe some replacement beads at some point, maybe a fucking something like that.
Yep. Yeah, and so it's nice, the intent behind this kit is you can perform this, kind of seating depth tuning on all your rifles that you got. I mean, rim fire's out, But anything from 223 up to 338 Lapua, you can perform this, measuring process, have your theoretical max dummy load, and then you can use the tool to adjust the seating depth on any, preloaded cartridge, whether it be a factory load or something you hand loaded.
So then we can probably take this way back simpler. We're gonna talk to the guy that probably just buying the box of ammo and he's never heard the word ogive in his life.
Okay.
So to that guy, basically any bullet that slides into your chamber, into your lands, into your grooves, whatever you want to say, into the throat, all these different words that guys use, there's some point to where the bullet meets the point of the lands and grooves and starts to be impressed into the rifling. That point is the point of contact that you want to start with your base measurement.
Right.
So once you have your base measurement of 2.85, you know what so that's what we just described to use the thermoplastic beads with, is to find that point where the bullet stops against a wall.
Right. Where that bullet's contacting the rifling.
Yes.
The lead.
And then from there, the whole idea of seating depth testing is you're pulling the bullet back away. Well, some people would even push it into the lands. We're just talking to the guys that are pulling back. Right. We don't recommend pushing into the lands further. We're talking about the guy that you're now going to pull that bullet further back away from that wall to find the point by 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 thousandths that your rifle is going to like to shoot that bullet the best. And again, by moving the bullet further into the case, you are changing case pressure at the same time. So it's not just the bullet's position, it's also the pressure inside the case, because you don't have the ability to change powder at this point.
Right.
But what this tool is doing for you that no other tool on the market does is allow you to accurately move the position of the bullet without marring or damaging the bullet, to tune factory ammo from the shelf at Cabela's to work better in your rifle.
Couldn't have put it better myself.
So all that being said, I will say this, after you did your demonstration the other day, right, I will tell you that there's going to be a slight learning curve when you first pull the tool out of the box. Right. This is going to be, you're going to need to spend a little time. We're going to work with Jake on a video, but he's going to have a badass video that shows you step by step exactly what to do. You're going to want to watch that video first before you pull the tool out. Don't get frustrated, that kind of thing. You're going to want to know how to use it before you start using it.
Yep. And once you have your dummy load built, the process is pretty straightforward. Mm-hmm. You just load that dummy round into the tool, and there's a collet here in the back that'll snap in the extractor groove. Mm-hmm. Then you're just going to turn this lead screw down until you make contact on the insert. You're going to, after you install the correct insert for the caliber you're working with, mm-hmm, you're going to run that down until you make contact. You're going to pop that bullet back out, that cartridge back out, and then you're going to give it at least another 50 thou of rotation in. That's what that's your grip.
You're setting the kind of the grip.
Right. And so then you're just going to impact one round until it stops moving, smack it, check it, go until it stops moving. This is all neck tension dependent. Some of the factory loads hold on pretty tight, so you might have to kind of give it some sauce.
What does it stop against? Like, could you bend a tip bullet?
No. There nothing touches the tip. It's grabbing on the ogive.
That's the mi-pla.
Right.
That's the mi-pla.
What is it? Mi-plate?
Mi-pla.
Mi-pla, yeah, I think.
What is that, French?
Yes, French. See?
We need a better word for that.
So there's no way to bend a ballistic tip of any. Okay.
You won't deform your tip. Nope. The tip is safe.
Nice.
But
so
anyhow,
it's the tip. So it's being caught on the side.
It's being caught on the ogive.
It's like a ring. It's like the ring that's around the shaft. It's nowhere near the tip.
Correct.
Whoa.
Correct.
That was like Freudian.
Right. But yeah, anyhow, so once you
what is Freudian?
Freudian slip.
I don't know what that is.
Look it up later, son.
Freudian slip.
You know what it is?
No.
I was going to tell Emily to put on the screen, but we probably don't want to see it.
Freudian, like he's a philosopher about all like kind of sexual innuendos.
Oh shit! Yeah. So now we're like Kama Sutra.
No, it's like we think about and term things as in sexual relations. It's like a Freudian slip.
Huh?
You ever heard of it?
I'm going to look it up now.
Emily, look up Freudian slip.
Okay, so to go back, Jake, we're looking at, so there are a couple more tools that are needed here to make this system functional.
Right, correct.
We hope that these are standard tools that every type of guy might have in the garage, but basically you're going to need a set of digital calipers. Well, it doesn't have to be digital, but it's better for you.
Yeah, digital calipers will make it quite a bit easier. I know Frankfurt Arsenal sells some for pretty cheap.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking like, you can spend $25-$30,
but just
that'd be the bottom of the barrel.
Ones.
Yeah, Mitutoyo AOS Digimatic is the top of the line. Those are about $140.
That's like the industry standard.
Yeah, and if you're any type of loader, weapon tinkerer, you really should have the Mitutoyo. That's probably one of the best tools you're going to use, in your arsenal there.
How do you say it?
Mitutoyo.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
It's a Freudian slip.
See?
Freudian slip. Unintentional error regarded as revealing
subconscious.
I don't see anything about sexual in there, sir. That was your feeling.
Calling your partner your mom's name?
That was your feelings. It's all about subconscious feelings, not about sexual feelings.
Scroll down a little bit there, Emily.
Yeah, it's only continuing to prove the point.
Calling your partner your mom's name. I walk a fine line. My mom's name's Laura and my wife is Lauren.
Oh, shit.
Holy shit.
That is close.
Call her Larry.
Yes, okay. So so back to the show here.
Yeah.
You're gonna need a digital caliper.
Yep.
Spend $140 if you can't afford it, $30 on Amazon, Frankfurt Arsenal, something like this.
Right.
But you need that tool to take these measurements that we're comparing, obviously.
And you're gonna want a set of ogive comparator.
Yes.
If you want to, you can run just to the tip, but the tip of the bullets vary quite a bit. So I highly recommend grabbing some ogive comparators.
Yes.
And if you do ever plan to reload in the future, you're going to need those anyway.
Absolutely. So on the lower end of the ogive comparators as a kit, I would say Hornady has a nice kit with one comparator housing and several different inserts for different bullet calibers.
Right.
What the tool is the little insert is basically a thou under bullet diameter. So if you're shooting a 308, the inside of this hole is going to be 307. So it sits just above the bearing surface datum into the ogive, basically. So the ogive is a long, continuous part. When we say ogive, we really mean the term where the bearing surface leaves into the ogive.
Right.
On the higher end of that, my favorite set actually is Short Action Customs. Has a super nice set. They sell a short and a long housing, a nice little platform, and then all the different inserts. And those guys are badass machinists and make really great products. So we carry those in the store here, Short Action Customs.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think their kit, or at least one of their kits, it has headspace comparators included.
Yes, you can get the full shebangus that covers almost. Now they are kind of, let's say that they're geared more towards PRS type size cartridges.
Right.
They do have a line of dies as well, and I think they're coming out with some bigger stuff like 300 Norma and whatnot, but they don't have the whole gamut yet. Right. But these guys, this is the source of the new Nexus press, which to me is a phenomenal piece of machinery and probably the best universal press on the market.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get my hands on.
It's pretty fancy. We got another shipment in coming soon if you want to put your name on one. So again, you're going to need a comparator set, which would be a housing and an insert that matches your bullet's caliber.
Right.
And you're going to need
just like this.
Yep, they look kind of just like the set that comes in the tool, but this set is intended for the use inside the tool. But again, you're going to need these tools anyway if you go down the line to loading and whatnot, or maybe your buddy has some. But basically this tool allows you to tune factory ammo for the price of a couple boxes of ammo. Basically, you can tune, instead of buying 10 boxes and see which one shoots best. You can buy one and tune the bullet seating depth for you.
Right. And another way to look at it is if you are a guy that's shooting factory and you're looking into reloading, but you just don't have the time. I mean, money, the financial investment for full-blown reloading's up there, right? Mm-hmm. But the time, I think, blows the financial side out of the water. Mm. If you're one of those guys that doesn't have the time, but you want to squeeze just a little more performance out, in some cases a lot more, depending, this is kind of like a baby step into that reloading process.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it gives the person that say you get a box of ammo. And I'd really like to see how this works out. Like in your shooting 100 yards, you're shooting a 2-inch group or 2.5-inch group. Right. And then you change the seating depth drastically and it brings it down to an MOA group.
Well, you basically just experienced that yourself.
Yeah. I mean, that is exactly what started this whole thing with that 25-06 I was telling you about. I couldn't get better than 1 3/4,
Right.
And after I reseated those, I mean, I played around with it quite a bit until I got it ideal condition, and after that, it was shooting 10 shots sub-minute all day, which that rifle couldn't have prayed to do that with that specific lot of factory loads before.
Have you played around with any factory loads and tried that?
A lot. Those were factory loads.
Oh, they were?
Those were factory loads.
I would like
those
to see.
Those were Hornady Precision Hunters.
We have a Browning rifle that shoots about 4-inch groups with CX bullets. I'd like to knock those around and see if they brought them in at all.
It seems like I haven't done a ton of testing with the monos, but it seems like they like to jump further. I think
Definitely.
it's just because they have that harder alloy.
Yep.
I mean, they're cantileering them just for that material to have somewhere to go.
Mhm.
And it seems like they like a little more run.
Definitely. For example, like a Hornady standard jump will be 20 thou.
Right.
Burger Bolt, kind of same thing. But once you jump to like a Barnes LRX, they recommend 50 to start with. So that, you know, they're not even coming that close just to start.
Right. And you hear about a lot of guys shooting AccuBonds or whatever. And, you know, a bonded bullet, it seems like it kind of behaves the same way, at least in the little bit of experience I've got, because it's a stiffer jacket, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's a subtle hint.
Good. Sorry.
No, you're
you're
fine.
good.
You're
Yeah.
fine.
But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
if it's behaving the same way, where it's a little more difficult to displace that material when it enters the lands, you know, that's why it seems like the common consensus is AccuBonds like to jump.
Yep.
But yeah, that's the
So I guess one last part of this will be, we were talking about the name of the tool, and we were kind of talking about maybe when we release this podcast talking about the tool, we can do a simultaneous post, but we basically want to let the listeners kind of come up with some different names.
that would be ideal if anybody out there has a good name for it. If you can't tell, I don't know a damn thing about business.
I
So,
think we can find a name.
I think we'll find a name. And hey, if we pick your name, you're going to get a tool.
yep, free tool.
Perfect.
Free tool for the winning name.
So again, when you guys hear this podcast come out on Tuesday, maybe in, do you know what day you're thinking?
Yeah, Tuesday. It should be this coming Tuesday.
You think this coming Tuesday, the
We should wait
27th?
till we're back around.
Yeah, it's probably right. So we'll be, as a matter of fact, even the 3rd, we won't be back around yet.
Yeah, I don't know how long you want to wait either. Well, we'll be here like with the following days of that.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
September the 3rd, we get back the next day, basically. So
Right, let's shoot for that.
yeah. So September 3rd, when you guys hear this, check out Instagram on Unknown Munitions. And, Shoot to Hunt. Sorry. I'm always the Unknown Munitions.
God
Sorry.
Damn it.
I know it's what I live and breathe all day long.
Yeah.
So you're going to check out the Shoot to Hunt Instagram page, and there will be a post with a picture of the new tool. And you guys can check out what it looks like. It'll talk about the price point at that point. But again, it's like a couple boxes of ammo for you. And we will allow you to put some names down in the product description. And if one of them gets picked as the new name of the tool, then you guys will win a tool.
Right on.
Yeah.
How long, when did you start this process to this finished product, basically?
It'd be last spring.
Last spring?
Yeah.
And the 25-06 is what clicked it in the brain?
That's what got it all started. Yeah.
That's
But
great.
yeah, I've tested it on, I don't know, 20 different rifles of different cartridges and different bullets, different factory load offerings. And yeah, I mean, there's no guarantee that it's going to take your Mossberg Patriot from a 3-inch group down to 1/2 inch.
Yeah.
I want to be very clear about
Well, yeah. You say, if a fucking gun ain't shooting, a gun ain't shooting.
it. Right. But this is, in my mind, the only way to optimize your factory loads. And more often than not, at least 80% of the time, you will find a difference in group size. And I just want to make another quick point. If you're a guy that's shooting factory loads and you plan on trying to optimize those for your rifle, I highly recommend you buy at least a case, as many boxes of the same lot
Mhm.
of that factory load as you can. Because with the powder shortages and whatnot, you don't know what you're getting. If you get 3 different boxes from 3 different
They can be all
lots,
different powders.
man.
Yep.
Yeah. So
That's good advice.
try to get as much of one lot as you can.
Definitely. Well, I think it's definitely, like I said, I believe it's a tool that's going to fill a hole in the market there. There's nothing like it on the market. And there are a lot of tinkerers out there,
Right.
especially the guys, that are shooting through the different boxes of factory ammo and whatnot. I say you're going to save you some money with this tool and allow yourself the option to, get into the loading game a little bit, get in the
Right.
tuning game. And
Get your feet wet. And another thing that it can be useful for is, say you're a guy that really wants to shoot the Hornady Precision Hunters or whatever, and your rifle just doesn't like them.
mhm.
So you're forced to shoot Nosler trophy grade at $100 a box.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you can get it to shoot that, that lower price point,
Yep.
whatever factory or Hornady Precision Hunter ELD.
Definitely. So we're about to do around the campfire.
All right.
It's our new little, so that we have a guy calling with basically a hunting fail story.
Sweet.
And then they get to tell the story here live on the podcast. Ryan's messing a bunch of shit up right now.
Oh, I try my best, but
What is these noises that you're making?
that's him.
Oh,
Feel it? Feel it?
I'm getting warmed up. Forbes happy.
He's like
He turned and looked. He turned a little bit.
Jason, are you on the phone?
I am.
I hear you have a round the campfire story for us.
Well, I don't know if it's round the campfire, but it's around something. Yeah.
Well, let's hear it.
So my first solo backcountry elk experience kind of started a little weird. I ended up going out to central Montana with a guy that I kind of knew here in Washington, who was an elk master, and he kind of lasted 2 days and then left. So I had to make a decision. I've never done this before. Am I going to carry on? I mean, I think that year it was like -20. It was pretty cold.
Oh.
So made the decision, I'm in, I might as well get it done. So, following morning, up early, lots of coffee, got to keep motivated, and brave new world, right? You're in the middle of central Montana, completely alone as a city boy from the UK, right? So it's, a little bit different than what we're used to where I grew up, right? So a few cups of coffee, probably a little bit too many in hindsight, but can't change the past, and jumped in the pickup and headed out to where I figured I was going to start doing my first solo glassing experience, which, of course, being terrified of things that can eat you at the time, you do that from the comfort of your pickup truck, right? When it's your first solo and you're not used to it and stuff, which obviously lessons were learned in that regard as well. But yeah, as I'm sat there being all brave and macho and, being a outdoor guy that I am, I'm looking through my binos early in the morning, just trying to wait for some sunlight to come through the clouds and, cast a little bit of light on the mountain that I was staring at. And of course, the coffee kicks in, and that started to get a little bit aggressive after about 10 minutes of bubbling stomach syndrome. I'm like, well, this has got to go. This is it. I've got to get rid of this thing. So I stepped out of the truck. I got my baby wipes there, and obviously -20. You can imagine. You guys know it's completely padded up, layered up, down layers. You name it, everything. Brand new Kenetrex. So the tread on the Kenetrex was incredibly aggressive because they hadn't really been broken in that well at that point. So I figured I'm just going to open the car door, the truck door, and I'm just going to squat right down there, and I'll do what I got to do, and then I'm going to drive the car away from that spot, and then I'm going to start hiking. That was my game plan. So sure enough, I'm trying to peel layers off, and I figured, I'm just going to move them out of the way. You know how you do, right? You're sort of just pulling on things so that you can get the trajectory lined up, and obviously with the stomach being as fluttery as it was, I was pretty convinced it was going to be more of a shark than something else. So obviously I let it go, and oh my God, it was a record-breaking pile of shark, right? So I'm like, okay. So I'm kind of balancing, and I'm holding all of my clothes out of the way of this monster of a turd, and I'm trying to grab at my baby wipes, which are on the driver's seat of the truck, and I'm trying to lean up. I managed to get my baby wipes and reached on down there and did what they were for as well. And I figured I'm just going to lay these baby wipes over the shark, right? So I did that. And as I stood up and started trying to pull all my gear back on, trying to avoid my gear obviously splotching down in a monstrous pile of shark, I kind of pulled everything up and ready to get back in the truck, and I don't know what happened, man. I just stood in it. So that entire monumental pile of shark ended up pretty much all the way up to my ankle in my brand new Kenetrex. Yeah, and it was a doozy, man. So I think I spent about 45 minutes with my baby wipes trying to wipe all of it off my boots and get it all out of the tread and stuff, because elk have really good noses.
Form would fucking die.
Yes.
Form is a completely scared of human shit.
Very anti-feces.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh my
Yes.
goodness, he'd lose it.
So
Wow, man, I've never heard that before.
what was the lesson you learned there?
Well, the funny thing is there's kind of a follow-up story to that as well. I didn't obviously learn a lesson. I'm a guy.
Exactly.
We don't do that very well. We just keep doing the same damn thing. But I think it was probably 2 years later, I'd become a stone cold killer by that point, right? I'm a master hunter now. I can shoot far. I can kill stuff from a long way away and fill the freezers. And one of my wife's sons decided that he was going to come out with me on a shoulder hunt in January. So we did that. Ice cold again, and we ended up finding a head of about 900 of these beautiful animals on top of a ridge. And, they were on private land, obviously. So we were sat in the truck. We drove, I don't know, we're probably about 30 miles away from where we were staying, way, way, way up there in central Montana. We pulled the truck up on this little dirt road, and start glassing on these things. And my game plan was, well, I don't want to drag you up there. I think he was 12 at the time. I don't want to drag you up there chasing after these things because they're on private land anyway. So what we're going to do, we're going to sit in the truck and we're going to watch them, right? We're going to learn from these animals. And if everything goes according to plan, they're going to swing off to the left of where we were looking and go bed down for the night, right? And if they move, they're going to go over state land. And if that happens, we're going to have to run up that hill and ambush them, right? That was the plan. So we're sat there for a couple of hours, we're glassing these animals and they're having a good time in the sunshine. They're probably about 3,500 yards away from us and hard to see, but we could see them. And of course, stomach starts rumbling again. I'm like, shit, man, I'm going to have to take a dump, buddy. Just wait right there. So I step out of the truck. I did exactly the same thing and I let it rip. And it was probably 3 feet away from the truck. I didn't stand in it this time. Neither did he. But I get back in the truck and, there's this monster pile right next to us again. And, game warden drives past, right, waving and stuff like that. I'm thinking, geez, don't get out your truck, man. And a bunch of other hunters are, they see us parked there, obviously. You know how it goes. So they come piling over to see if we're spotting anything. And they pulled up behind us and they kind of sat there for probably about 10 minutes before they got the courage up to come and say hi. And I'm thinking, Jesus fucking Christ, man, don't get out of your truck and walk up here. Sure enough, driver gets out and he comes walking towards us and I'm watching him in the mirror, man. And he's like, dum-de-dum-de-dum, walking over it. And he's like, whoa! So I open the window and he's like, so, oh yeah, I can see him. Yeah, you got him, guys. That's awesome. He's like, who did that? I don't know, man. It was here when I shot. I don't know who did that. I must have been here already. So I guess if there's a lesson, it's try and get it out before you leave, or certainly don't drop it on the trail.
Or maybe shit further from the truck.
Well, I've got braver now, right? I'm a rugged outdoorsman. I've got a bunch of kills under my belt, so I'm not that afraid of venturing into the bush now to take a shit, I think it was all based on fear, It's like, I don't want to hang my ass out of the truck and take a shit and then get jumped on by a grizzly, like mid-shart, It's not a good time.
Pretty vulnerable.
Yeah, that is a good story. And the thing about elk masters, I hear that every year they went with some buddy and that buddy leaves you, which I don't quite understand, but it happens over and over again. Did you shoot an elk on that first trip?
No, I didn't. I actually found him. Which was miraculous. I can remember like that first morning, after I'd, studied all that and cleaned it up and stuff. I had a different game plan for the second day on my own. And I found myself sitting on the side of a mountain, like way up. It's about 4:45 in the morning when I got up there. So it's pretty dark, sat under a tree, guy from Manchester in the north of England. We don't do this stuff where I'm from, obviously. Not even allowed to have firearms, but I was sat there and every noise that I heard was either a cougar, a wolf, or a 900-pound monster grizzly that was coming to get me. In reality, it were probably grouse or something, or some chuckers or something flying around. But the good thing is, like, once that daylight came in that morning, and that's what changed my life forever. The fear disappeared when I saw the big sky. Pinks and oranges and purples, and yeah, that was it, man. That's God's creation, and I haven't looked back since, you know. And I don't shit right next to the truck anymore either. So
Perfect.
Good learning lesson.
yeah, we're getting there.
Well, Jason, I appreciate the call and I appreciate the story.
Anytime, man.
All right. Thank you very much.
Take
Yeah,
care,
guys,
Jason.
take it easy. Enjoy.
You
Bye
too,
bye.
As soon as he told his story, so remind me of cutting you off when we went up on the cellway, and me and Mason got to the top, and the first thing I had to do was shit, and I'm mid shit, and Mason's like, "There's a bear, Dad! There's a bear!" So I'm running with my fucking pants down, shit coming out, fucking ran over there and dropped to the floor and killed the bear.
I was thinking the other day, I think we need to write. I have so many. I don't know what it is.
Hey, your
about
shit stories are dangerous.
shitting
though.
in the woods.
Yeah, you have some shit stories.
Or shitting. I used to drive a shredding truck and a Tony's pizza truck before that. And dude, I have some.
Everybody's got a shit story. Come
Dude,
on.
Everybody.
I've
But
got
some of
a-
mine are like.
And if you say you don't, you're just telling the lie.
I heard lots of people say they don't, and I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, you got a
you
story.
probably got. You still might want to not. You might not want to tell it. But
Yeah, yeah. You shit wrong at one point in your life.
You want to get away from coveralls. That's a pretty good rule.
Oh,
If you're
yeah,
gonna-
Coveralls and
coveralls.
suspenders are not your friend. One last question, Jake. Who came up
Yeah.
with your logo?
I did.
That's a good one.
Thank you.
Real good
I
one.
appreciate that.
Badass.
Did we leave anything on the table we need to talk about? I kind of got
No.
sidetracked with the poop stories.
No. So September 3rd,
September 3rd.
Product
that's our target
release?
date. Yep. When you're hearing this.
type1designs.com,
Type1designs.com.
unknownmunitions.com.
Correct.
Look for the Instagram post on Shoot to Hunt. You may win a tool if you come up with a name.
Right.
And this is the best tool to come out for factory ammo shooters in a long time. If probably the best tool available.
It's probably the
Thank you.
and the only tool available. To
Exactly.
change your-
Right. Yeah.
Change it
The
up.
only other thing were like concentricity tools, but I think those kind of fell because I mean, really, you're doing more damage than you're.
Yeah.
I'm very excited with the names that people will come up with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too.
And everybody go look up Freudian slip and tell Jake how he's
Oh
wrong.
shit. So it's a bullet seating depth adjustment tool.
Yep.
We just don't
Yeah.
want to call it that.
No, we don't.
We want to shorten that up a little bit and give it a name that somebody will remember.
Yep.
Here we
A
go.
bullet erector.
Why does it come up with erectus? Why are you coming?
Freudian slip.
It's a pitch a tent and erectus.
My,
We're gonna erectus the
Hey,
pitch a tent.
I got way better names. You Inform just won't let me use them.
That's because they suck.
No. They're risky. They're very risky.
All right, Jake. Hey, thanks for coming on,
Yeah,
and
thanks, guys.
good luck to you in your new adventure. I mean, you put a lot of heart and passion into tool. A lot of people don't understand the amount of time and effort and money it takes to bring an idea to fruition to where it's a fucking tool in front of your face ready to use. And I understand it. So, like I said, yeah, congratulations on that, and I wish you nothing but the best.
I really appreciate
Yep.
you guys
Then
having me on.
You give a customer another option with a gun that may not shoot,
right.
and then you giving them an option to make it shoot
Right.
where they didn't have before.
Mhm.
Then they got to call Jake and buy those expensive reloads.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think we should make a note of that. If it's still not doing it for you, and this gun or this barrel has sentimental value to you, and you don't want to swap it, next step is Unknown Munitions. Get some custom loaded stuff.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Well, good luck, Jake.
Right on. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Listening.